Good morning, everybody. As usual, running late. Finally got myself a entry. Or mute that. Okay. Good morning, Tran. Deep cold Chicago. Yeah, I bet it is. So, I not prepared. Nobody gave me a subject to talk about, so I'm just gonna talk over, like my logo says, road to success. Let me throw up a picture for you guys. There you go. That's what we get to wake up for. Road to success leads to sunshiny mornings, especially during the winter. Get yourself nice reflections off water on the job site that you have to pump out somewhere else. So, if you guys have any questions or anything, you throw at me real quick. I can get started on that stuff. You hear me all right there, Trent? Sounds all good. Transition back. So, just hanging out today. Just going to talk about the road success. So, how we getting started? Get started by finding a job, finding a company you want to work for, whether it be going to if you're non-union, just trying to get into the industry, get started. Don't go to a school. I mean, you're gonna pay somebody else to teach you how to run equipment when you could actually find a job with a company that will pay you to learn how to run the equipment. That's a better way to do it. Work smart, not hard. So if you go non-union, you're probably going to start out on working for companies as a laborer, move your way up. Be honest with the company when you get hired. Say, hey, I want to become a heavy equipment operator, and they will evaluate you ongoingly. Why? Shut up. Okay, there we go. So we just move on. So as you move up the ladder in companies, you become better at your job. Experience takes time, and so first 4 or 5 years you're just learning. Once you become a hand, start running smaller equipment on jobs, doing, pushing dirt around, moving things, running loaders. Uh, if you're lucky enough, learn grade setting. That is probably, if you're an operator, I would say that is one of the most important things that you need to learn is the grade setting portion. Learn your numbers, learn the mathematics, how it all works, how to read a stake on what the stake is telling you. If you can get that down and understand that, you can walk onto any job without a set of plans, look at the stakes, and know what's happening. It'll tell you what's going on. It'll tell you what pipe is it going into the ground. Most cases, just based on the color of ribbon that goes around the top of the stake, then you're going to be going through and putting ribbons on the stake for elevations, maybe just drawing a line, whatever works for you. But there's a lot going on there. Let me see here. Can't really show that. So, I think I showed this last week. Not really sure. But we started off this new project this year. So we're using shoring here with plywood. You can see my second operator is dropping it in with a 210 hybrid Cabelco. We got our ladder. We got water because, well, it's been raining and we're on a dry spell right now. So the idea is we get this sump put in here, which will stay there for the entire project until we get our manhole material, which is where there's a manhole that goes right into that spot where that plastic pipe is sticking up. So that pump ran the entire time that we were doing the sewer line, 24 hours a day. We would come in, make sure it was running, check our trench, make sure there's no water in it, pump's running good. We keep going, keep digging. The second day before we had this pump put in, we came back and we had 2 feet of water. The pipe was underwater, so we had to wait. God, what was it? An hour or so before the pump caught up to the water and the trench got dried out enough to where we could continue digging. So this is another one of the things you need to learn is the road to success is learning how to use jacks and stuff like that. You drop them in. We've got our pump can right here, which connects in here. So one of the key things when you're putting in the jacks, so you put them in, get them into place, have your measurement for separation. There are OSHA rules for that. I believe it's 6 or 8 feet from rail to rail. And the upper jack has to be within a certain, I think it's top of the rail or the top of the pressure jack has to be a certain, I think 18 inches from the top of the trench. And then there's also a number for the bottom, but I think that's 4 feet on the bottom. That allows guys to be able to duck and go underneath them. And then you can see they have extended rails, and these go all the way to the bottom. And this ground is really good. So the topsoil, the top here, you get the company that we're working for, the contractor we're working for, put down A-bead the entire project and lime treated the entire project, so the water didn't penetrate down below. So we have it's great digging. Kind of a hard pan, not super hard, but hard enough that it's completely safe. So you can see here, this wall standing nice, vertical, trimmed up real good, and had no problem digging it. You can see how the material looks. It's not soaking wet or anything like that. We just got a wet bottom. We put crushed rock underneath the sewer, buried it in crushed as well, and keep going. So back to the shore, one of the things I was talking about. So as you pump up, use this pump can, pump up the pressure in here, there's a dial on there that has a gauge. It has a red zone and then a green zone, which is 1,000 to 1,500 PSI. And then above that is a red zone, because when you get above, if you're in the low red zone, there's not enough pressure to prevent a cave-in according to numbers, according to OSHA. And then when you get above that green zone into the high red zone, you're looking at over pressurizing the jacks and just blowing out the seals on the jacks. So they have an operational zone that you have to work in. Now, when disconnecting these, you want to disconnect the pressure hose here. You don't relieve pressure from the can first and then disconnect those, because then you're also bleeding all the oils and everything out of the jacks back into the can. So you leave the can locked. You use a shoring tool, which is just a lever. It goes down there and you pop it. It's like an old the air chuck. So you pull it back and it pops right off. Same principle. You pop that hose off and then disconnect the shore from the chains that are connected to the excavator. Because the problem is if you disconnect these chains prior to disconnecting the hose, if you pop that hose off and the chains aren't connected and that fitting breaks while disconnecting that hose, or maybe the seal in the little valve in there is leaking and spraying, that jack will lose pressure, drop to the bottom of the hole, and now you have to figure out how to go get it without getting a guy into a dangerous ditch. So you always disconnect the hose first, then disconnect your chains. And laborers will always jump on trying to disconnect those chains first, so I'm always yelling at them about it. I'm sure I've got it on video somewhere. So here you can see we've moved along. We're pulling jacks from the back and we are moving them forward up to me where I'm at. Oh, this was all on the same day. You see we got water, or this is the next morning. I'm not really sure. Superintendent running the excavator. I believe we showed that before. No. just to tease you guys. Anybody that likes the Niners, there you go. Yeah, I'm that kind of person. All right, here's our road to success photo that I had earlier. So I had to go back to our Delta Shores project. This is the company that's putting in our micro tunnel. The micro tunnel's installed. They're actually, this generator is running a winch that is run 1,000 feet down the pipe through the micro tunnel, and they're putting together the pipes that have an interlocking band and pulling that the 1,000 feet all the way through to this end. This is the receiving end. And so they were working on that, and they needed a rock road because this is kind of muddy through here. So when they get done pulling that pipe, they're going to be done in this side, and they're going to want to pick up all their stuff. So they wanted a road in here. So I came over here. We dropped this is like, I think 6 inch riprap for a road. So I pushed all this in, made a nice wide entrance, and there's actually on this front end closest to the photo, you drive out the job site at 90 degrees to this road. So, and I made a nice sweeping entrance here so the trucks can actually back in here. The crane will load everything onto a flatbed, and then the truck will drive out. Do I have another? Well, I gotta tell you, I upgraded my truck. I don't have pictures of this stuff installed, but I bought Banks equipment. If you don't know who they are, they're Banks. So I installed all this stuff yesterday. I was supposed to work yesterday, but due to a miscommunication between the crew uh, and other people, we did not grab the laser shovels, any supporting equipment we needed to work on Saturday. The boss man and the lead laborer, they took the crew truck over to that job that I was just showing you over here on the other side, on the sending side of the pit, and they were doing something over there. They had to do something over there with the guys to get the pipe going. But oh no, they were testing pipe. So they were pressure testing, and so the problem was is that because we didn't have all the tools, lasers, and all that stuff that we needed, we all got sent home, and I drove almost all the way to the job site. For me, that was an hour of driving, and so I drove an hour to work in the dense fog. You can see it's foggy in this photo, and what I was driving in, you probably couldn't see that crane which is a few 100 feet away, and it was bad, and so I had to turn around and drive an hour back through the same fog, but the sun was coming up and made visibility a little bit better, but not much. But that sucked. 2 hours of driving for nothing. But I did go to Denny's and had a French slam, which was good. Oh, let me see here. What do we got? All right, so I had a question the other day from another video on the main channel.
The Mediterranean diet is
No, I don't need that. So I will throw a link in chat to the video. If I can figure this out. We'll pin that up. So that link right there takes you to the video this question is on. The question for this was, now this is that big 108-inch wet well that we installed several years ago. And this guy just he caught the video and he asked the question. These are really deep and really wide manholes. Is this for a pump station or some treatment plant? Another guess I have is this. This is like some kind of step system where a really deep sewer pipe fills up the manhole from the bottom, and then the fluid levels rise and exit out the manhole at a much higher elevation. I know sewer systems work by gravity flow. Uh, I am just making guesses here. Okay, so, and that was from Barry. Barry had asked this question. Now, I did reply. If I can find the reply. Okay, so, and the video doesn't really explain what this is. So here was my reply to him. This is known as a lift station. A new 17,000 housing track was in the plans for the next several years, and that housing track is still being built. I mean, they're still putting in homes in that housing track area. Several different tracks, several different builders, but there are still homes being built in that track 4 to 5 years later. So something that I installed is still being built up. Mm. Okay, and at the location was no way to get the same to get the sewer to the treatment facility. So a low point is created for all the sewer to flow to and be stored in a limited quantity. The station has two 18-inch pumps that chew up and spit out the sewer into a forced main, like a water line but for sewer. We installed these two lines that went just about over a mile to a mass gravity line. So there was a 72-inch gravity sewer line that we pumped all the sewer to that was not being used at its maximum capacity. So we were able to just dump this 17,000 homes worth of everything into this 72-inch line that then gravity fed off towards the sewer treatment plant. And that was my reply, and the dude replied back, "Thank you for the detailed explanation. That makes perfect sense." So a lot of the stuff that we do and learn is being able to do these huge projects and do small projects. I really kind of got off subject, didn't I? I'm way off the road to success. But the road to success gets you to jobs like that. So, let me see what time we got. Okay. Got any other questions? Oh, wait. I did have Tran here in the chat. He dropped some photos. We'll just take a quick look at those. So, Tran likes to go around. One of the viewers, he likes to go around and take pictures of equipment. It'd be nice to see if you could get some pictures of them actually being used. So we've got a Volvo. Volvo is a nice rig here, a 380, so 38 ton, I'm assuming. Excavator, got a big old claw on it, fixed back claw, and then so just the front claw on the curl. Basically, you stick the thumb around whatever you want and then just close the top on it, grabs it. You can pick it up, toss it. It's for loading trucks. We have what is this? Cabelco, maybe? It's the right color. About a 330 ton size.
Oh, you are.
I'm live.
The dog's been barking like a zombie bitch. I let her outside.
Okay.
You gotta take care of her.
Babe?
That is right. Thanks.
All right. So, just an excavator sitting there. It's got a protective cage on it on the cab. So you got crash protection, not just the roll cage, but you have safety from flying debris to prevent like big objects coming through the window and smashing you. So it's a demolition rig. And here's a cat 325 with the same setup with the claw here for basically grabbing stuff and throwing it into bins or trucks. 200 excavator with a big bucket on it. That's a big bucket. And you can see they've demoed out some pipe out of the ground. We've got steel lines. Not sure what kind of line that is laying on the ground. Looks like steel as well. What we got in the back here? What is that? It looks like a dozer. Yeah, that's a little dozer and probably a little skid steer CTL in the back. Oh, this is interesting. So I found this one interesting. So we've got a 330C. This is an old cat. This is from the 90s. So it's an old machine. Now what I found interesting was this bucket. So there's a company Felco out there that makes buckets like this, and this is the same wheel design that they use. So I'm assuming this is a Felco bucket. So you've got a excavator bucket, probably a 4-footer, and the one he's scooping up got scooped up there. That's probably a 5 or 6 foot bucket, and a wheel that's built into the bucket system. So there'll be like a sealed off zone for the bucket to hold material, so you can use the bucket to scratch around with and actually locate or move the material around in a limited fashion. Then you use the wheel on the back of the bucket. You just curl and start wheeling. This prevents doing what I have to do all the time, is take the bucket off, put the wheel on, wheel and compact, whatever. And then this is really good for large areas of work. So that wheel is pretty wide. So it's about a 3-foot wide wheel. Most of our compaction wheels, we have a bunch of 2-footers, and then we have some 4-footers that are for bigger areas. But this is pretty good. So you wouldn't use this for backfilling a trench that was the same size as the bucket. You'd use this on, like I said, larger open areas. I believe I can find... Yeah, here we go. Okay. I'm going to throw up a video here so we can see what it looks like. So this is on a mini excavator, but you can see the wheel on the back, the bucket. Oops. All right. So anyways, that's what it does. That's how it works. Oh, well, they're using it in a trench. That's pretty cool. But that's basically backfilling with one of these buckets. So the bucket can make the trench wide enough if the bucket, or if the trench was dug a little bit smaller. All right, so that's what those are good for. Another cat. This is a newer one, probably 325, 330. You can tell it's newer because of the back end, so it's got all the stupid new emissions stuff in it. Why are we going crooked? 450D, this is what I used to run. Really good, strong machines. The ones we had 8 to 10,000 hours on them. I had one that I think was getting close to 11,000 hours. They sold them off, went to the Cabelcos, and not super happy with the Cabelcos. We did finally get a mechanic out on this Delta project that I did, and had the power turned up to where it was supposed to be. Apparently all the Cabelcos, when we bought them, they turned the power way down on them. For some reason, I don't know. And we got another demo job here, a little PC Komatsu. Komatsu is an okay machine. I mean, they're not bad. They run good. You can see some building got completely demolished. It looks mostly metal, so it was probably a modular home of some sort, or modular building. All right. I really need a mouse pad to quit slapping this thing around. All right. Well, that's pretty much what I got. We got any new questions? Anybody got questions? Okay, so you got a question. Where's the question? And now I need the freaking. Now I need the music from. Do 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 do. So, are you throwing me a question, or did you throw it somewhere else? Where is my Discord? Did I close out my Discord? So that's another thing, guys. You can find me if you want to upload pictures and stuff. You can upload them to my Discord channel. The link is in the description. I did close out Discord. How about that? Or did I? No, I didn't. Oh, that's why. I had the photos up. So Discord is a place where you can come in, you can voice chat with me if I'm online. You can leave me messages, direct message me there. There's a lot of forums and photographs, equipment, stuff. I post stuff in there. It's, you can post your own videos, something, because if you leave photos and videos in the Discord, I can actually look at them and I can review them and we can talk about them on Sundays. And I'm here every Sunday, 8 a.m. Depending on how long how long it is, how long the broadcast is. I am just all over the place today. I've actually got plans today. I'm thinking about that. How do you read John Deere tonnage? Same way you'd read the rest of them. So like the 450 is a 45 ton, or you could read it as a 50 ton. So most manufacturers use the numbers on the machines to basically describe the weight of the machine, the base tonnage of the machine, like a Cat 330, 30 tons. The 450, either it's 45 ton or it's 50 ton. Same thing. I mean, with Komatsu, all of them, you just have to go to the manufacturer's website and find out how they actually describe the machines. And there's also several different configurations of the way machines comes, like the Cat 385, which I don't have a model of yet, but so I got a 365 sitting up over here. Now, they come with different length booms and sticks. So if the stick is longer, like a long reach, that's going to increase the weight of the machine. Same thing with the boom. Like if you're looking for a machine that's got a ton of torque for digging power through rock and stuff like that, you're going to have a little shorter boom and a little shorter stick. And that creates more leverage, more digging force. Now, if you're digging something that's really deep, you're going to have a longer stick and a little bit longer boom. And there's several configurations which you can go with from the manufacturers if you're buying brand new or even if you're buying used. So I think that's going to be about it. I am going to be heading over to my brother's house. I'm going to hang out with my nephews, play with them, so if they're watching, hello. And I think I'm going to call it there. So if you got any questions or anything, throw them into the comments. I'll read them. I read all the comments. And don't forget if you see this at some point, just hit the subscribe button for me. Like, share, subscribe. And as always, what was it? Keep your butt level and your ditch straight. All right, guys. Thank you for watching and hanging out. We'll see you next time.